Hello YouTube and welcome to GrunfWorks Plays KSP. This is episode 57 of our Interplanetary Voyage, and in this episode we are doing the final preparatory work to actually launch our SSTOs to the surface of Laythe. And if you take a look, it's a really beautiful station and we have two beautiful SSTOs, but as you can see, there is not a whole lot of supplies, and actually there is a good explanation for it. I have sent previously an additional supply ship towards the Laythe, and it has also arrived a while back, so you can actually think about it. It has been, I have no idea how many episodes, but yeah, I mean, it should be somewhere around like maybe 20-30 episodes ago. And those supplies are still somewhere around Laythe. Now, the real thing is because I want this station to become the command center. So what I need to be doing is I need to thaw my Kerbals. So let's thaw Matthew Kerman. Like straight up from the microwave. And we have Elbart. Microwave, 20 seconds and... ding! Right, there we go. So, with that thing out of the way, let's see, we have, okay, 3 years of food remaining. And as you can see, this is now a command center. Meaning I can remote control any object without a significant time delay around Laythe, which was the whole point of bringing this space dock and all these massive ships and all those Kerbal popsicles. Right, so we have some scientists, we have some pilots and whatnot, but the main thing that we want to focus on is now our Jool Laythe, not comms orbital, sorry, but I want to see how it looks like. Just let's take a quick look. I think we have already spent most of the resources on that one, so now it's using just for communications. Right, yeah. So as you can see, we have very little delta V. We have, well, pretty much nothing much, apart from nuke reactor on top and a couple of supplies, which are filled to a degree. So we do have supplies. It can be used for resupply runs. Okay, but we have no more exploration craft. Let's examine the Jool Supplies 1, and that's, I believe, the supply ship I was talking about. So let's give it a quick look how it looks and... right. Yeah, oh, and that one was using the lithium drive. Right, right. Back then I was in the lithium era. So you see, looking around, it's sort of like going down the history lane and checking out what was I doing a while back. So, yep, clearly a good thing to think about. Now, with that being said, let's just quickly see how we can dock with our space dock, because we have a lot of valuable supplies. As you can see, insurmountable amounts of food, oxygen and water, which will for sure be needed by all the 6 Kerbals that will be at the Laythe Orbital station. So we need to think about it. So I think it was good that we had some supplies on the route. I think it's kind of good that we had these people, you know, well, or these Kerbals well provided, so they have enough snacks to enjoy for a certain good period of time. But we need to actually make sure, and we have a big nuclear reactor, because I think the previous one was rather small-ish, kinda. I don't know if we really need it. I mean, big one we need it for the drive, obviously, but I don't think if we need for anything else. And yeah, it chugs through the, as you can see, through the uranium, making depleted uranium like it's nothing, like it's popcorn. Right. Okay, we have corrected the inclination, so we just now have to figure out an encounter which would work in terms of docking and stuff. By the way, guys, this will be a rather shorter episode simply because I didn't have too much time to actually play KSP. I was busy recording Bomber Crew, but I will obviously, play it a little bit more I'm hoping for the next episode. However, let me know, what your thoughts are on the series. I'm thinking as soon as we get some bases, I'm gonna be trying to get maybe a new KSP series. I've been playing here with quite a while with like a bigger, ships and stuff, and my frame rate is tanking, so it's becoming a little bit more tedious than fun. But I'm thinking of starting a new and fully stock save for, all kinds of ridiculous stuff, which means I won't have professional tools. I definitely won't have as much insight, and given that I've been very rusty in terms of, well, pretty much everything else, I'm thinking, playing again a fully stock version will be kind of refreshing. The only thing I might do for mods would be the visual ones, but I haven't decided yet if I'm gonna use them or not. I really like, I was thinking fully stock experience. Let me know what you think it's acceptable in the comments. Fully stock experience or just the visual upgrades. But I'm even thinking of not using the engineer even. Oh, well, there's a screenshot. Definitely a screenshot for this episode. I hope, at least. Right. And we have a possible encounter, so the only thing that remains, and as you can see, we have literally 0 time delay, which is very, very good in terms of making this guy, behave. I'm thinking maybe in the next episode I'm gonna be sending the remaining small communication probes in maybe polar orbits around Laythe, just to ensure good coverage. Not that we need it, but moving those away from the space dock would help definitely the frame counter, but also give us a sort of a good overall coverage of the area. So we are 20 kilometers out, and we are going at relative 48 meters per second, so I would say we are pretty well positioned. And this craft, I believe, I have designed it to be balanced, so I'm hoping it will actually be able to dock rather well. Target encounter will be around 1.4 kilometers in 2 minutes and 30 seconds, but we're gonna be correcting that with our burns, where I'm hoping to get a very close encounter in a little bit longer time. So I'm hoping we get it in the light, because we are still in the dark area just behind the Laythe, and as you can see, Jool is pretty well lit. So, docking in the dark, not my thing. I have cranked the contrast up, so it's not, pitch black, otherwise it wouldn't be fun. But, yeah. 5.5 kilometers and coming. Let's crank up time acceleration a little bit until we get to the physics range, which should be right about now-ish. Oh, there's a physics bump. And I have decided to crank up the time acceleration. Sorry for a little bit accelerated music. Okay, 1.8 kilometers. At this point I was getting 8 frames per second, so I've cranked it to 350%, so that it remains enjoyable while watching. Right, I prefer to actually keep it in this view so that we can all enjoy and appreciate the station, Laythe Orbital station, as it comes closer and closer. Let's choose the docking port. I think I'm going to go with the senior docking port over here, which is 300 meters out. So let's come closer a bit, and I think I should move the screen here. I think it provides a better viewpoint. 200 meters, slowing to target, 0 target relative, roughly. There we go. Right, okay, let's decouple. Thank you. You have been serving us so well. Let's fold the long-range antenna because we are within like spitting range of the Laythe Orbital dock. Probably wouldn't be kind of dangerous to spit in space. Yeah, and you would end up with just spit ending up on your, you know, helmet, inner side. Ugh, disgusting. Okay, I need to get that mental image out. Anyway, out of my system or brain. Well, Laythe Orbital dock, 164 meters and closing. Let's line up nicely. And this is a well-balanced craft, so there should be no oddities in terms of docking. And once we dock, I'm gonna wrap it up for this episode. Like I said, it's a shorter episode. Sorry for that. But it was either having the content out or basically, you know, skipping. So, and I think this is sort of, you know, leading up to our big finale, which would be landing of the 3 SSTOs that we have. Let me just move this out of the way. Screenshot, obviously. Just sliding in the perfect position. $50 meters. There we go. 1.6 meters relative. And I'm pretty sure we will be docking just nicely. Just note to myself, don't open the long-range antennas. Oh, and as if you see, we have 2 more probes. Yes, so those 2 small communication probes we can actually use as relays or something. Almost there, and docked. Wonderful! Having said that, I'm actually just considering of taking these probes and basically, or taking at least one of them and, well, launching it into the Julian orbit rather than all of our current probes or communication relays are around Laythe. So I'm just thinking I could actually be swinging one of those, actually, you know, out. Right. Okay, so having said that, let's take care of business, shall we? Let's see, this is our station. I'm pretty proud of it, given the fact that it's at Laythe and that it has taken me like just 57 episodes to assemble it. Well, granted, not all of them have been not all of them have been for this particular station. I've also launched things to Duna. Okay, right, now, let's just, I have decoupled the communications, well, probe, satellite, call it whatever you want. The nice thing about it is that I can remote control it now using the remote tech, and I can use it without the signal delay because our Laythe Orbital is now a command center, which actually gives me a lot of freedom in terms of, you know, controlling this in a nice way. Okay, so let's point orbit prograde engage a little bit our ion thrusters, and slowly but surely we are leaving our station behind. By the way, guys, I'm showing this in time accelerated fashion because, well, like I said, my frame rate tanked, simply put. Okay. Beautiful Laythe as always, and Jool and our Laythe Orbital station drifting off in the background. Okay, so I first want to set up a communication relays. The first one will be pointing to the Laythe Orbital station, while the second one will be pointing to the Laythe communications node. So if we'll drop a connection to the direct, direct point of contact, we will have another relay to aim for. That's the plan anyway. So, having said that, let's just evaluate where we could swing it. I'm thinking somewhere here. Yeah, I think this orbit would be pretty nice. And the total burn is around 500 meters per second-ish. We have plenty of delta V, so we don't have to worry about that. Let's just time accelerate ever so little. Okay, thank you for reminding me. And the beauty of it, since I've queued the command, I don't really need to be in the driver's seat, so I can actually just sit back and enjoy this beautiful Jool set. When you're looking from this distance, it gives you a false sense of scale. You think that Laythe is kind of big, but if you think about it from compared to the distance, and when we will be actually leaving Laythe, then you really get the perception of how really big is Laythe compared, or how little Laythe is compared to Jool. I really like this ion thruster, and I really like the design of these probes. I'm actually pretty proud of it. They have served me well when I needed to play with like 4 or 5 minutes time delay, and it serves me well now when I don't have time delay. The only nasty thing about it is that I have this 3 frozen Kerbals, but I think that's a bug in deep freeze, so yeah, well, you live, you learn. By the way, guys, I must say that, playing with this kind of save, and it's becoming increasingly, tedious. So I'm actually, like I said, thinking of going with a fully stock, no mods whatsoever for, fun and giggles. And you guys will get a lot of chances to see me fail at ridiculous levels because I'm so accustomed to using all the mods to help me plan and keep it a little bit more, professional and scientific. But I'm just thinking that playing a fully stock will be a nice change. Also, by the way, guys, at the time of this launching, we are having a Bomber Crew giveaway. So definitely go visit our Discord channel, the Discord server, which we have recently set up. Come over, give some suggestions for the bomber names, because my bomber names are really... I'm going through them like hotcakes. I'm losing a lot of them in the process. So please give me some suggestions in terms of how would you like to call them. And I will, of course, reserve the rights to use all the names submitted in the contest. But the 2 best I will award with a gift key of Bomber Crew. So, and obviously they will be publicly announced, and I might even, I might actually name the crew in there, or the pilot, or whomever I will need after the mod author, or the name author. Look at that, name author. Well, the suggester, so to say. Okay, enjoying this beautiful burn. I mean, it's a very long burn. In real time, I spent 8 minutes, having this bad boy burn and eject itself out of Laythe sphere of influence. But all in all, I mean, I figured, first initially I thought of putting these 2, communication satellites in the Laythe polar orbit so that we have really good coverage. But then again, we have a command center, and we will be landing the Laythe base sooner rather than later. By the way, just for you, a heads up, in the next episode I fully plan to take one of these two beautiful SSTOs that I have and land it on the surface of Laythe, searching for a good site to land our mobile base and our big heavy SSTO Bast. So I just hope it will be Bast and not Bust, because I've put a lot of effort into that one, actually, well over 40 hours of, preparing and assembling. And also, if you guys like to see how it's done, how it's created, do check out the Kerbal engineering video for the SSTO Bast and also the Laythe mobile base rover. I found that you actually guys like when I kind of assemble things, and then you get the chance to see how I do it, what's the process, and all the failures that go into it. Don't get me wrong, I'm definitely not a pro, despite the fact that I have well over 3,000 hours in KSP, but still, of course, the good thing about KSP that failing is kind of fun. You get lots of fireworks, and that's something that I hope to rekindle in the new save that I will be starting as soon as we finish this one. I think I have a couple of episodes of content left, but yeah. Okay, and our maneuver node is done, it's executed. So I might as well crank up a little bit the time acceleration, and then we will be leaving Laythe Sphere of Influence. And now you will see how quickly Laythe becomes small blue pearl. I really like the look of Laythe, and I really like these visual mods, to be honest. There we go. Our ghost crew, who I guess is remote controlling this from Laythe Orbital, has said, okay, crank up the time acceleration, it's time to leave Laythe Sphere of Influence. Okay, let's just kill this alarm and crank up the time acceleration until such point that we leave, leaving beautiful pearl that is Laythe behind us. Right. Well, having said that, guys, thank you very much for watching. Like if you like, hit subscribe, and support us on Patreon and join our Discord. I'll see you all in the next episode. Until then, thank you very much for watching. This is GrunfWorks, signing off.